In this video, I'm going to compare the options available to you to add virtual shifting, steering, braking, and in-game controls to your Zwift experience. I'm also going to be giving you my top 5 reasons why you should be thinking about upgrading your indoor cycling setup. Hi, I'm James. Have you been wondering whether to look at purchasing the Play Controllers, maybe the Cog and Click, or even the whole Zwift Ride to upgrade your indoor cycling experience? Well, you're in the right place. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to take you through each product. We'll compare and contrast the different features available, and then you can make an informed choice as to whether or not these are the products for you. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I'll carry out a live in-game demo so you can see exactly how it all works before you go out and spend your hard-earned cash. Let's start with the simplest and usually the cheapest upgrade, the Cog and Click. This option gives you virtual shifting on your current setup by simply replacing the cassette on your smart trainer. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can see if your trainer is compatible with the Zwift Cog. Once you've put the Zwift Cog onto your trainer, you can then shift gears virtually through the game. And the click part of the setup is adaptable. You can put it pretty much anywhere and it will go on pretty much any set of handlebars. So if you'd like it on the flats at the top, you can put it there. If you'd like it on the drops, you can put it there. Completely tailor it to how you want your setup to be. But what exactly is virtual shifting? Well, let's have a quick look into it. In essence, virtual shifting simulates the changing of gears by varying the resistance that comes through your smart trainer. It's wireless, it's instant, it's smooth, and it's virtually silent. And of course, there's no chance of your chain coming off when you're trying to get into that right gear for your sprint finish. You get 24 gears with virtual shifting, which is more than you need in my experience. And it also has a much wider spread of gear ratios than any other setup that I've seen. The gears are evenly spaced, so you're never reaching as you go between gears and finding it too much of a jump or too much of a gap as you go down the gears, and therefore it doesn't cause you to lose your cadence rhythm either. The downside of this setup is it doesn't include the other features that we're going to talk about in a moment, which is the steering, the braking, and the in-game controls. But it is £79.99, so it's a relatively cheap option if the virtual shifting is all that you're looking for. And I should also say that the virtual shifting doesn't just work with Zwift, but I'll leave a link below and you can follow it if you are a Rouvy rider, because the virtual shifting now works in their game as well. To get the steering and braking in game, you'll need to go for the next level up, shall we say, and go for the Play Controllers. The Zwift Play Controllers retail for £99.99, although at the moment they are on the Zwift website, as I record this video, at £49.99, which makes them, in my opinion, pretty good value. To be able to fit these to your bike, you're going to need drop handlebars on your current setup, or you'll need to change your flat handlebars or aero handlebars to drop handlebars because they are designed to fit on the drops. Let's split their functionality into 2 parts, their virtual shifting and everything else. So we spoke before with the Cog and Click about how virtual shifting works, and with the Play Controllers, it's no different. If you want the virtual shifting to work, you're going to need a Zwift ready or Zwift compatible smart trainer. Again, the link is in the description below. But importantly, you don't need to buy the Zwift Cog because it's a smart trainer that talks to the game, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the Zwift Cog, which is purely just a mechanical item. There's no electronics in it whatsoever. So of course you could buy the Zwift Cog and use that, but if you're not too bothered about changing the cassette on your bike, you really don't have to. Zwift recommends that you find a gear whereabouts the chain is at its straightest between the chain ring and the cassette, and then you just leave it there and forget about the gears on your bike and just use the Play Controllers to change your gears in game. Of course, this might take a little bit of adaptation. You'll still be reaching for your normal gears, shall we say, on the bike, and you need to obviously learn yourself out of that habit on your indoor setup, but it's a pretty quick learning curve. And the first few times you'll do it, you'll realize that you've made a mistake and you'll pretty much work it out of your indoor cycling very quickly, I'm sure. Once you're all set up and you've fitted the Play Controllers onto your bikes, it's the long black button next to the orange buttons on the front that controls the virtual shifting, up and down on either side. The second part of the Play Controllers functionality is controlling the in-game menus and various features that you can do within the game. So in no particular order, this would include the steering and the braking that I mentioned earlier, and it includes being able to use the action bar that you normally see when you tap on a screen or click a mouse button and it pops up at the bottom of your screen. You do all of this using the buttons that are on the Play Controllers, the arrow buttons on the left-hand side, and the PlayStation type controls on the right. It's very convenient, it's very easy to use, and don't forget, I'll give you a live demo of it a little bit later on in the video. For those of you who are considering purchasing this, Eric at Zwift Insider has a great crib sheet with all of the functionalities in all of the different type of ride environments that you can do inside Zwift. So I'll leave a link again in the description below, and Zwift Insider is a fantastic resource. I thoroughly recommend that you visit his website. With me so far? Great. Let's look at the next option. If you want all of this functionality built in and ready to go, then you could consider looking at the Zwift Ride. And to be honest, that's what I have. But of course, this is much more expensive than the other two options. The Zwift Ride frame itself, with no smart trainer, is £799, but they do a package with a Wahoo kicker core for £1,199. Of course, you can fit the Zwift Ride frame to your existing smart trainer. Again, you just need to check that it's compatible so that you get all of the functionality with the virtual shifting. I've done a full review on the Zwift Ride with the Wahoo kicker core, and if you're interested in learning more about it, I'll leave a link in the description below, and I won't go into it in too much detail here. So there's a couple of minor differences between the Play Controllers and the handlebars that you get with the Zwift Ride, but nothing too major. In fact, the only ones that I can see is, instead of having a long black button on either side of the handlebars on the Play Controllers, on the Zwift Ride you have two smaller buttons. And the other feature that's on the Zwift Ride, which doesn't look to be on the Play Controllers, is two orange buttons at the end of the handlebars on the drops, one of which controls power-ups and the other one which allows you to do ride-ons. Other than that, their functionality is exactly the same. So the question is, if you're looking to upgrade your indoor cycling environment, which is going to be the best option for you? Well, here's a comparison between the three different types of setup, and I'll put a link to a PDF below that you can download. Again, thank you very much, Zwift Insider, for the resource which I have borrowed. Okay, so I think that's all of the detail that you'd need to know about the three different products that are available to you to add these features to your indoor cycling setup. But at the beginning of the video, I did say I was going to give you my top 5 reasons as to why I think you might want to upgrade. So number one, it makes the game more immersive. You don't have to take your eyes off the screen. You don't have to take your hands off the handlebars. Everything you can do, except actually sending a message, although you can make the message box itself pop up, you can do whilst you're riding and completely absorbed in the game. Number two is the super smooth virtual shifting. And it really is super smooth. It's seamless, it's instant. I've had zero problems with it. And it just gets rid of an awful lot of noise. You don't get any of that jumping between gears. It just makes for a nicer riding experience altogether. Number three, more ride-ons. You can do ride-on bombs by holding the ride-on button, and it will give a ride-on to everybody who's within a certain vicinity around you, which of course only makes you more popular in the game. And who doesn't want to be more popular? The fourth reason is important for racing. You can time your power-ups to perfection. You're not looking to tap on an iPad screen. You're not trying to hit a key on your keyboard. It's literally there the moment that you want to release that power-up to win that sprint finish or conquer that hill. It's available to you, and you don't have to look away from the screen whilst you're doing it. And the fifth reason is that the steering can give you an advantage in the game. So the first way is you can shorten the course. You can steer into the corners and take the shortest route in much the same way as you would when you're outdoor cycling. Secondly, you can position yourself in the draft. So you can position your bike where you want it to be in the pack and make the most of the draft. And equally, you can stop people getting into your draft by steering to one side or the other. Particularly useful when you're going for that sprint finish. Now I have to say that in quite a lot of the racing that you see on Zwift at the moment, steering is disabled to make it fairer for everybody who doesn't have it. But it's still available in some of the races and it is available in the rest of the game. So there you have it, all that you need to know, my 5 top reasons as to why I think it was worth my while upgrading my indoor setup, and it could well be for you as well. So let's have a look at that in-game demo now, and I'll take you through exactly how it all works. Here I am in the home screen of Zwift, and what we're going to do is look at the settings first for the virtual shifting, and basically you need to come to this hardware tab here, and then if you look here in the menu, you've basically got obviously trainer difficulty that you'll have normally, and then you've got the shift style. So I have it in sequential, which basically is 1 to 24. Don't forget, I'm riding the Zwift Ride, so I've got the Shimano style shift patterns as well. But you can choose here which one you want. I find sequential is the easiest one for me. And then if you scroll down a little bit further, then you can adjust your gear range. And this is basically your cog setup. I've never moved it out of mixed terrain. I'm sure other people play around with it a lot, and if you wanted to, of course you can. And then the drop buttons at the bottom are the bit that I referenced earlier in the video. It's whereabouts you can give ride-ons and power-ups using the orange buttons at the end of the handlebars, and you can switch which side of those you want them to be on. So that's basically the setup that you've got in the menu, and what we'll do is we'll go into the game. Okay, so we're joining Maria as a robo-pacer. I'm not sure if you've all used robo-pacers before, but I found them really useful when I've been doing my training in order just to push myself by going up with the relative robo-pacers. What you can see now on either side of my handlebars, I've got the 2 buttons to shift up and down. So on my left, I've got the down shift, and on the right, I've got the up shift. So you can see in the top left-hand corner underneath whereabouts there's the watts, my heart rate, and so on and so forth, that you can see the gear that I'm in. So basically it tells me if I've shifted down, shifted up. If I press and hold, it'll do a number of gears all at the same time. And that's the gear shifting in a nutshell. Very simple. You can probably hear on the video there is no noise. All it does is increase or decrease the resistance coming through the smart trainer, which is a Wahoo kicker core on this one here. So we'll keep with this, and then we'll have a look at the buttons. So essentially on the left hand side you've got the arrow buttons, and on the right hand side you've got the PlayStation style buttons. So if I click the up button, you can see that it brings up the action bar, and then I can click the left and right buttons to go through it, and then I can press the down button to get rid of it. So if I want to interact with the action bar, then I press the A button, and you can see that that's taken me into hiding display. I don't want to do that, so I use the left button and the A button to cancel that. Again, go into the action bar. If I want to change the view, I can now use the up and down button on the left hand handlebar to change my view. Have a look at all of the different views, and you can see it's easy just to use the up and down, press A to select, and then if I want to stay with third person, I basically just use the B button to get rid of that, and then the B button again to get rid of it altogether. So A, select, B is back effectively. So I'm riding with a few other riders. If I want to give a ride on, it's the Z button here. Just press and hold it on the screen. It tells you that you're doing a ride on bomb. And there we go. Mr. Carter behind me has been ride-oned. And then we haven't got a power up on this screen, but if we did, we'd use the Y button to select it, or indeed we could use one of the orange buttons at the end of the handlebars if I'm down on the drops. So it's very easy to use. It's pretty intuitive. You can go through all of the different parts of the action bar. As I said earlier in the video, you can select a group message. Obviously then you've got to go to your keyboard to actually type it in, unless you've got some kind of voice activated. To do a U-turn, you can do this actually in the game. So if I press, you can see it comes up with U-turn. So I have to press and hold, and then there we go. It's a U-turn. I don't have to go into the menu to do that. I've just done it myself. So I might want to come back round and catch up with Maria and the team. So maybe we'll do that, maybe we won't. So if I did want to catch up with Maria, I could actually use the teleport feature, press A, choose Maria, A again, so let's go, and I go back in it. So all of this I'm doing without ever touching a touchscreen on the iPad or a mouse or a keyboard on your PC. So it really does mean that you can concentrate in the game. We've got a power up. So you can see it's got a Y next to it in the screen. So it even reminds me what I need to do. So we're going up a hill, I've just pressed Y, and our featherweight power up has been activated. One other feature that you can do with the left button on the left-hand handlebar, if you watch the top right of the screen, I can cycle the mini-map. So I've gone into a lower 3D type view, press it again, takes me out a bit but still somewhat zoomed in. Press it again and it zooms me all the way out, so I can cycle through that as I wish. And then of course on the steering, I've got the left and right here, so I can steer. Now it won't let me go through somebody, so I can keep on pushing until I can get past, and there we go. And steering out, it'll only let me go so far, but then if I want to take the racing line on this corner, get ahead, and then obviously it lets me go as far as I can, and then if I wanted to come across, I'm sure everybody's wondering what I'm doing in a Rouvy pacer group. You can imagine in a race, if you had somebody following you, you could try and put them into the draft, or equally, if you're in a pack, you could drop back into the draft. And then if I touch it, you can see my brake light comes on, so I can brake on either side of the handlebars. And yeah, it's simple as that. One other feature that you've got, which I can't demonstrate to you on this ride because it's only available in races and group rides, Rouvy pacer is not really counted as a group ride, is you can use the down button and it will give you a rear view for about 1.5 seconds and then it jumps back to looking forwards again. Particularly useful if you're in a team time trial or if you're in the end stages of a race and you wanted to have a look behind you to see how close the competition was. Of course, all of these things rely on you remembering to do these at the appropriate time. And if you've just done a high power output 40-kilometer race, then maybe your memory recall to do these things wouldn't be at the best. I know mine isn't, but it's all there available to you if you want to use it. If you're in ERG mode and doing a workout, then the buttons that are on the left-hand side that you would obviously usually use for changing gear, you don't need that because the computers or the workout is controlling the trainer resistance. So then they switch over to a different function, which is to increase or decrease the intensity of the workout, which if you've done them, they're based on your FTP and then set at so many watts for so much time. If you feel like the workout's too difficult, you can use the buttons to decrease the intensity of that workout. Or if you're feeling like you're super strong that day, then you can increase the intensity. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. If there's anything I've missed or anything you'd like to know more about, please let me know in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.